Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Trans 101 series. Today, I am talking to you about pronouns and what are pronouns and the importance of pronouns and how to respect pronouns and yeah. So to be as basic as possible, a pronoun is something that people would like to be referred to. And I will say that in society we have these boxes that are made for us already. Male and female, he and she. And that's how it's gonna be and that's how it's always gonna be. Okay, that's fine. Yes, we can go with this. So, these are what pronouns are. They are associated with a specific gender. Now, when a trans person comes out, they will most likely tell you that they would like to use different pronouns than you are used to. So if a person was assigned female at birth and transitions to male, so they are now going from from she pronouns to he pronouns. And that is very important to respect that trans person's pronouns. And the reason why is because without respecting their pronouns, a lot of trans people feel like you're invalidating their identity. And some people even feel like they're not trans enough, or they don't look and appear like the gender they are trying to present as enough because you are not respecting their pronouns. And then other people don't respect pronouns because they're just rude as beep. But it is very important to understand why pronouns are so important. And I can see how some people in society don't think it's a big deal and they can just get over it, and that some people who are angry at trans people will even resort to using old pronouns in order to talk down to them or to remind them of who they were just because they're angry at them. And this is something that I'm gonna say, stop. Don't do that. No matter how angry you are at a trans person, never ever use their old name or their old pronouns, because that's like another level. Like maybe you're trying to put the trans person down, maybe that's what you're trying to do. Some trans people do this where they're mad at another trans person, they just get angry. Never resort to saying someone's old name or saying the pronouns that they used to use, because this is something that it's another level of you are now like seen as I'm not gonna use the despicable person because that's like a really intense word, but I will say that you are the lowest low that you can get right now, because you are a person who does not respect other people. You're allowed to hate anyone that you want, but the second that you don't respect someone's pronouns because you're angry at them, come on. So respecting other people's pronouns is absolutely crucial. And I think that one of the biggest things that people have is that they're scared of messing up on pronouns. So you have a coworker who has come out as trans and now uses he pronouns. Some people will avoid trans people because they're scared that they're gonna mess up pronouns, or they'll talk to them and they'll accidentally slip she, and then they'll make a huge deal about it. And they'll be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I've been trying so hard. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Please stop. Please. Almost everyone that I know and that I've talked to my entire life who is trans, who has been misgendered in the past, absolutely hates it when people make a big scene, because then other people hear about it and then it just makes everyone in the room feel uncomfortable. It makes you feel uncomfortable, makes them feel uncomfortable. The best thing to do if you misgender somebody is literally to be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. You just, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Like a small, I'm so sorry. I have some friends, okay, who use they pronouns. I sometimes slip up because it is not a pronoun that I have been raised with that is easy for me to just click like that. I'll admit that. It's hard for a lot of people to understand what they pronouns are. And what I mean by they pronouns is usually associated with people who are non-binary or gender non-conforming. So instead of using he or instead of using she pronouns, they like the gender neutral pronoun of they. And I know that a lot of people are gonna be like, that's not grammatically correct. It is though, and I will put a link in the description explaining all of this to you so that you can understand that it is okay to talk about one person and use they pronouns. So back to my story. I have friends who use they pronouns, and I sometimes mess up, okay? And it does happen. Even me, as somebody who is super open, who knows all of these things, all this information in my brain all the time, I will literally go, they. Or like, I won't even say I'm sorry, I'll just like completely right away, correct myself because it was an accident. And when I started to transition and people would mess up on my pronouns, if they didn't correct themselves, I would be like, I would feel so uncomfortable and I didn't want to correct them. But when they would correct themselves right away, it made me feel so much better because it made me feel valid. It made me feel valid in their eyes. And I know that other people, it doesn't matter what other people think, but for a lot of trans people, we look for validation in the people around us, in how we identify, and if you see me as how I see me. And I know that that's a bit problematic, but in the beginning of people's transitions, that can be a thing. So you're looking for someone's validation. So somebody who says she, and then be like, oh, sorry, he. Oh, sorry, he. Oh, sorry, he. That was that's it. That's all that you need to do if you mess up on pronouns. Some people won't agree with me, and I don't speak for the entire trans community, obviously. I'm just trying to give you a basic 101 of what I know, what I've experienced, and what I've seen in the trans community. A lot of people don't like when people who are not trans or anyone who misgenders anyone makes a huge deal about it. So please just don't do that. The main aspect and the main point of this video, okay, is when somebody who is trans or gender non-conforming or non-binary comes out and says, please respect my pronouns, I now use they pronouns, or I now use he pronouns, or I now use she pronouns. Please respect this person. Even if you don't agree with them and you think that trans people are disgusting, which, why would you, please, come on, man, we're people. Respecting other people and respecting who they are is so crucial in this society. There is so much hate all the time. There's people who are filled with so much rage, and we see this all over Facebook and all over the news, and it just takes one person to be able to just respect a trans person in order for them to feel better about themselves. And also, I mean, it's just like a nice thing to be respectful to other people and to like see them as human beings. And I know that you might not, some people might not agree, and some people really might not think that trans people are real, but it's hard at first, okay? And I want people to understand that. What I also want to talk about really quickly, the last point, is if you are trans and you are telling somebody, please respect my pronouns, I am gonna say this, and it's problematic, I'm gonna admit it. Don't expect the person to change your pronouns right away. And I am saying this because some people need time to process a different pronoun because they've known you as a specific pronoun for a very long time. And I've seen so many posts online where people are like, I just came out last week and they're still not using my pronouns. Especially when you're talking about your family. This is the family that's known you for 13 years, for 16 years, for 19 years, for 30 years. It can't happen overnight. For some people, it literally clicks like that and they switch the pronoun the day you tell them that you're trans and that you want to use these pronouns. And that is amazing, and bless those families. But for other people, it can be hard. And I'm saying this as somebody who is trans, who has had to deal with my dad, who is still misgendering me after 9 years of being out as a trans person, all right? This is very hard for me, and I've been trying to accept it, and it's only in the last 2 years, that he has finally come around to it. And I was angry for a very long time, and I held a lot of hate, but I realized that I didn't really talk to my dad about being trans, and I never really explained to him exactly why my pronouns were so important. If I had sat him down 6 years ago and told him, I need you to try, I think that he would have seen how sincere I am and how much importance I place on these pronouns and how much it would mean to me, and I think that he would have switched them like that. But I can also understand that because I never had that conversation, and because a lot of people don't have that conversation, and some parents are just so close to it, that it can take some time. When my friend who's very close to me told me that they now use they pronouns, it took me weeks for me in my head to associate them with that pronoun because I had known them for 6 years as a different pronoun. Even as a trans person, it can be hard, and I'm admitting that. We don't usually admit that, but I'm admitting it to you, so it's okay to take your time. with the pronouns in order to be able to process them. And a lot of people do this thing where my friend who is non-binary, their name is Zuzia. So I would go Zuzia they, Zuzia they, Zuzia they, Zuzia. So anytime I would associate their name and what they look like, I would see the word they. And that made it so much easier for me. So if you know somebody who's trans and they just came out to you and their name is now, I don't know, Peter he, and you just imagine this person's face in your head every time you do that so that you'll eventually be able to use the right pronouns for them. This tip obviously doesn't work for everyone, but this is just something that I have found that helps me a lot. Anyways, this is all that I have to say about respecting pronouns. There's a lot more that I can go into this, but once again, this is a 101 video that's gone way too long, but thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you for the next episode. Have a great day.